Appreciate the opportunity you've given me to share a few thoughts with you today. And many of you, I think, I've seen before in Washington, D.C. Oftentimes we had an opportunity to meet with a lot of folks from Rural Electric. We have had it is an interesting thing to me that when I served in Congress, the thing that I despised the most, or at least I did, in terms of public policy and what was happening time and time again on that front, was the degree to which people were content in thinking about the fact that bureaucrats and or politicians could manage markets. And they would then proceed on that assumption, incorrectly, to do a lot of bad things. And it happened in a variety of different places. Mandates became the bane of our existence in terms of especially trying to develop any sort of budget that was meaningful. You could not possibly begin to deal with budget issues successfully unless you attacked mandates, and no one wanted to do that. And when you look at the problem in Colorado, and in particular your area of involvement, we find, I think, much the same sort of problem. The idea that somebody other than producers and consumers of this product, in this case power, can make a better decision about the pricing, the distribution process, the regulatory burdens that you all face, and of course there have to be some, we understand that. But time and time again it is substituted. That is to say, we substitute government and bureaucracy for markets. And we make bad decisions in doing so. Now, to a large extent, I know that you are exempt from some of the mandates that have come down, but it will certainly not always be that way. We recognize that this is a constant battle of trying to avoid the regulatory burdens that are placed on other utilities and mandates that go along with them. But it will not always work if you have an environment that is hostile to what you're trying to do. And that environment exists out there. I'm not saying you have a hostile environment to the delivery of the product necessarily, but you have a hostile environment in terms of what you have to use in order to create the energy that you need to deliver. Because somebody makes a decision along the line, and it's not you necessarily, about exactly what will be produced, how much will be produced, the cost of that production will always increase, and you will be how do you escape being affected by that, even though maybe you're not affected by a direct mandate on the distribution end? So I guess, although we can certainly get into the weeds on this to the extent that you'd like, the fact is that from a broader perspective, from a public policy perspective, which is of course what I would be responsible as the governor of the state of Colorado, the thing that I want to leave you with here, the thought that I want to leave you with, is that I don't like mandates. I don't like bureaucracies and politicians making decisions about what should be a market-driven force, a market-driven activity. Just the things that come to mind, and again, you're not bothered by tiered pricing necessarily, but look at the bizarre thing that we went through with the Public Utilities Commission and somebody deciding, I really don't like the idea that there are people here who are using too much electricity. And not even remember, we're not even talking about peak hour pricing. We're just talking about somebody saying, I don't like the fact that some people use over a certain amount, 500 kilowatt hours. The audacity. And what are we going to do about it? We're going to make it more expensive for those people. Because why? Because they're probably wealthy. Because that's the real reason they did something like that. It is not to conserve energy necessarily. It is to penalize people they believe to be, less deserving, I suppose, of the thing you generate. In this case, XL. And so instead of saying, well, you know, it makes some sense, I suppose, to say that if you want to increase price mechanisms, you do so at peak hours so that you can possibly try to reduce that burden. But that wasn't it. It was because they wanted to act. It's a transfer of wealth. It's just another social service program, only wrapped into some sort of bizarre pricing scheme that is a penalty for people who they think shouldn't be using it. But of course, it doesn't reflect the fact that you got a lot of people who are indeed unable to make a decision. Their entire power grid, they're on a power source that is all electricity. They can't make any decisions. They can't go from one to another. They work at home. You got a billion kinds of little issues that come in. And I'm using that, I know it's not specific to your situation, but it's just an example of what happens when you've got bureaucrats who do this, who think they know better, and are operating on, and then you've got all kinds of other people out there operating on this sort of religious, the zealotry that develops out of a religious commitment to a green economy. And then you've got the legislature passing 1365, and, you know, as if they know what's better, what is the better product to use, and they're going to force the use of gas over coal. Let markets work, guys. Let markets work. They're much more dependable, much more reliable in determining how you move product to consumer. It's a difficult task, I know, because we're fighting on a lot of different fronts. The green economy, I understand entirely. Lots of people in here are committed to it, but and we all are in a way. Who isn't? You know, I've lived here all of my life. My parents were born in Denver, Colorado. I love this state, which is why I'm doing what I am doing. But this slavish adherence to the idea that somebody else can make a better decision about the use of resources for the provision of services and goods has always bothered me. And I'm not saying that there isn't a role for government. There certainly is. But I am telling you that it is that the podium has swung far too far the wrong way, as far as I'm concerned. And to the extent that I would be able to reverse that, I would do so. Anyway, by the way, I want to thank you again for allowing me to jump in here at the beginning. We're trying to get the car gassed and ready to go because we have to make a beeline trip to Aspen here. So I really do appreciate you letting me get in here at the beginning. And yes, absolutely, surely.
All right, I think we have a few, and whoever wants to go, Stan.
Yes, Congressman, we appreciate you coming today. Stan Kazir, Mountain Parks Electric, Rankin, Colorado. One of the questions we had was basically, last year, one of the budget balancing bills, HB 101190, suspended the sales tax exemption for electricity sold for industrial and manufacturing purposes. Would you as governor sign that bill that came across your desk today?
And it was to eliminate the sales tax.
Right. It was basically, there was a sales tax exemption that was applicable to industrial manufacturing purposes. I think there was listed about 12 exemptions that were addressed in the legislative session. Yeah,
well, to the extent that it would enhance our capacity in Colorado to develop the industry, why not? A sales tax exemption, to me, I mean, first of all, we have to put it in a context, I think, broader than that, in exactly what it does mean for the total picture. The idea of taking that one specific area of our industrial economy here and providing that kind of thing would have to be a little more, I think, a little more analysis applied to it. But generally speaking, I think I would be supportive of it.